This program brought to you in part by the Erica Lewis Endowment Fund.
Tonight, it's Coronado taking on Palo Verde. This is Varsity Quiz. Hi, and welcome to the 55th season of Varsity Quiz. It's an honor for me to be your host, Nathan Tannenbaum. Did you know we're on the road to the Silver League Championship? This is the first of two semifinal matches. There were 20 schools in 3 divisions in this year's Silver League. Tonight, it's Coronado who defeated Bishop Gorman in their quarterfinal match, taking on Palo Verde, who defeated the Moapa Valley in their semifinal. Our starting players, starting with Coronado, there's Xander. Hey, Xander.
What's up?
Mia's here.
Hi.
Miriam's here.
Hello.
And Daniel is here. And the coach for Coronado, Matt Aberman. Ladies and gentlemen, Coronado. The starting players for Palo Verde. There's Herman. Hey, Herman, welcome back. There's Ben. Howdy. Aaron's here.
What's
and
up?
Ro is here. There are 2 coaches for Palo, Kateri Christian and Dwayne Hansen. Ladies and gentlemen, Palo Verde. Students, you ready? Let's play Varsity Quiz. One example of what biological concept is the viceroy butterfly, whose resemblance to the monarch butterfly keeps it safer? Coronado, Miriam?
Biomimicry.
I think we can take that. Yes, points on the board for Coronado. We move on. What is the SI unit of electric charge? Coronado, Daniel?
The Coulomb?
Yes. Next question. Which technology is being studied for creating organs from a person's own cells so they could get a kidney or heart transplant made for them? Palo, Ro?
Stem cell therapy.
That's incorrect. Coronado, Daniel?
Embryonic stem cell technology?
No, check this out. It's 3D printing. Weird. On we go. The capital of Indonesia began moving. Coronado, Xander?
Jakarta.
That's correct. Next question. Which short story by Poe provides examples of all 3 kinds of irony as Montresor? Coronado, Miriam?
The cask of Amontillado.
That is correct. Next question. What's the name of the boundary in space where the solar wind meets interstellar space? Coronado, Miriam?
Kuiper belt.
Incorrect. It's the heliopause. Okay, next question. It's a calculation question, students. The store called Max Price is offering a 30% discount on all items. If a fancy spatula originally cost $120, what's the discounted price before tax? We'll go with Palo, Aaron.
$80.
That's incorrect. Coronado, Miriam.
$84.
That is correct. You don't need to lean in, Miriam. We got you. No, you're all good. We keep moving on. What's the 2-word term for the humorous scenes that follow a sad or tragic point in a story, a technique that Shakespeare is well known for? Palo, Herman?
Comic relief.
That is correct. Points on the board for Palo. Let's keep going. What international climate agreement from 2015? Coronado, Daniel?
The Paris Accords?
Can we take that? Yeah, I mean, we need something more specific.
The Paris Agreement?
Yes. Next question. The event that sparked America's involvement in World War II. Coronado, Daniel?
Pearl Harbor?
Yes. The fiscal policy of a nation involves using both the expenditures and the revenue from what major source of government income to influence? Coronado, Daniel?
Taxes?
Yes. In April 2023, NASA announced the names of the 4 astronauts who will be circling the moon in what named mission? Coronado, Mia?
Artemis.
No. Palo, Aaron?
Apollo.
No, it's Artemis 2. Next question. Distyle was an art movement from 1917 to 1931. Artists such as Mondrian, Bart van der Leck. It was started in the city of Leiden. In which country? Coronado, Miriam?
France.
Incorrect. Palo, Ro?
Italy.
Incorrect. It was the Netherlands. Next question. Some species of animals and plants don't fossilize as well as others. They're found far less or not at all. Although unintentional, this shares a word that means to have an unfair, prejudiced view for or against someone. But in paleontology, it's called the fossil record what? Palo, Ben?
Discrimination.
Incorrect. Coronado, Xander?
Bias.
Yes. Next question. Chatbots aim to mimic what using AI? That's Palo, Rowe.
Humans.
Can we take that? Yes. Points on the board for Palo as we move on. Picasso's iconic Guernica, created to show the horror of what? Palo, Aaron?
Bombing of Spain.
I don't think we can take that. No, we need something different. Coronado, Mia?
Spanish Civil War.
No, we were just looking for war in general, so you guys were over-specifying. Next question. What's the process by which a population becomes better suited to its environment over many generations? Coronado, Daniel?
Adaptation.
Incorrect. Palo, Aaron?
Evolution.
No, we were looking for natural selection. Those are both good answers, though it is not correct. What's the name of the traditional Japanese theater form with elaborate costumes and stylized performances? Coronado, Mia?
Kabuki.
Yes. An example of a stellar remnant. What type of celestial object, known for its incredibly dense core and comparatively small size, is the remains of a collapsed, massive supergiant? Coronado, Daniel?
A white dwarf.
Incorrect. That's after the buzzer, so we were looking for a neutron star. Next question for both teams. What's the name of the region in space where comets originate far beyond Palo, Rowe?
The asteroid belt.
Incorrect. Far beyond the orbit of Pluto. Coronado, Miriam.
The Kuiper belt.
No, it's the Oort cloud. Yeah, there you go. Next question. A Shakespearean play's title became what idiom for any series of Palo, Ben?
Much Ado About Nothing.
Incorrect. Series of mistakes that become ridiculously funny. Coronado, Miriam?
Comedy of errors.
That's what we were looking for. Next question. What's the title of Shakespeare's play about the conflict between the houses of York and Lancaster? Coronado, Miriam?
Henry the Fourth.
Incorrect. Palo, Ben?
Richard III.
Nope. Henry VI. Next question's a calculation question. If a ball is thrown straight up into the air at 30 miles per hour, how high will it go? Coronado, Miriam?
15 miles.
Incorrect. We were looking for 45 feet. Next question. In a physics problem, you're using the formula F, as in Frank, equals M, as in Mary, times A. F equals M times A. You have the quantities for both M and A. Your F answer would be expressed in what units? Coronado, Daniel?
Newtons.
Yes. We've come to the end of the first round, but don't go anywhere. Let's give these students a round of applause. We want to give the students a chance to breathe. You guys doing all right? Having some fun? Sort of, kind of? Well, let's get to know our players a little bit better. We're going to start with Coronado, and we have 11th grader Xander. Hi, Xander.
Hello.
Nice to see you. You say that you collect something. Do you
Yes.
remember what you wrote?
Of course, I collect hockey jerseys.
How many do you have?
I think I have 20 right now.
Are you talking NHL, or does it matter?
NHL for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there's some VGK in there.
Of course. I mean, they're my favorite team. I have more than them, but I
Good.
love them all. They're all like wearable works of art.
Good. Yeah, they certainly are. Good luck with that, and good luck in Varsity Quiz. Thanks, Xander. Here's 12th grader Mia. Hi, Mia.
Hi.
Welcome aboard. You wrote that you have a condition that I'm not sure what it is. Is it anisometropia?
Yeah.
And what happens with that?
Well, it's pretty basic. It just means that my glasses have different sizes.
Okay.
So one eye is worse than the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded pretty fancy.
That was the point.
There you go. Thanks, Mia. Good luck here at Varsity Quiz. Here's 10th grader Miriam. Good to see you again, Miriam.
Thank you. You too.
So you wrote that at least one of your favorite books has a certain quality. Do you remember what you wrote?
Well, I went to a private school for some time, so we had like a smaller library. We didn't have much. So when I started high school here at Coronado, I was also new to CCSD. I checked out some of the reading lists on like the websites, and
Right.
they had really interesting books like Brave New World. They had 1984, but my favorite ones, they weren't even on the list. There's a genre I like called magical realism, and it's especially prominent in Latin American literature. So like 100 Years of Solitude, like Water for Chocolate, just those books. They're like, it's like mostly real, but then there's something like just out of this world happening.
I better check into this.
Yeah, you should.
All
It's
right,
great.
Miriam, thank you. Good luck with that. Good luck here at Varsity Quiz. Here's 12th grader Daniel. Hi, Daniel.
Hi.
Good to see you again. You wrote that you do a certain kind of martial arts.
Yes, I've done karate for 12 years and jiu-jitsu for 2.
And do you have a preference?
I think both are fun. I think I gravitated more towards karate.
And
just in
is it
general.
competitive or is this just for personal development?
Just for myself for now, but I'm trying to join a few jiu-jitsu competitions
Right
in the next few
on.
months.
Good luck with that. And good luck here on Varsity Quiz. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round for our kids from Coronado? Fantastic. Let's meet our players from Palo Verde. We'll start with Herman. Hi, Herman.
Hi.
I want to give you a compliment because you wrote down that you're proud of one of your own accomplishments. Do you remember what you wrote?
I'm a national merit finalist.
Dude, that's pretty good. Can we give Herman a round of applause? Man, that's fantastic. Congratulations. So as a 12th grader, I think you've also said you know which college you're going to?
Oh, me?
Do you know where you're going?
Yeah, UNR.
Right on. Well, good luck with that, and good luck here on Varsity Quiz. Thanks,
Thank
Herman. Here's 12th grader Ben. Ben, good to see you again.
Hello.
You wrote that you help with online strategy games.
Oh yeah, so I host these games online that are like social deduction games, and basically you have to figure out like who's the one committing the crime, and you have to like deduce based off of actions and social
Okay.
rates.
So this isn't your Grand Theft Auto.
No, I would say not.
Yeah, okay. Well, good luck with that, and good luck here on Varsity Quiz. Thanks, Ben. Here's 12th grader Aaron. Aaron, welcome back.
What's up?
Nice to see you again. So you wrote that you have a habit that some people might consider weird with the way you have breakfast.
I'm going to be honest, this was an homage to my old team captain. This was all he would put for any fun fact. But yeah, he puts milk before the cereal, and I just want to call out how wrong that is.
Oh, okay.
That
So you
is
personally never do that.
Unsettling.
Okay.
Yeah.
You pour the milk in the bowl and then the cereal.
No,
You should
no,
never
no,
do
cereal
that.
first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whew, I'm glad we got that cleared up,
Cool,
Aaron.
cool, cool.
Thank you so much. Good luck here at Varsity Quiz. Here's Ro. Hi, Ro, a 10th grader. You wrote that you like traveling with some specific types of places to go visit.
Yeah, I specifically like going to national parks, like here in the U.S. And
Do you know how many you visited?
yeah, I've been to like around 30 of them, and we're going to like a couple, like 5 more this summer.
Is
so
it
I'm
possible
excited.
to have a favorite?
I really like Olympic National Park because it's so like green and rainforesty.
That's up in the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah.
Right on. Well, good luck with your visits, and good luck on Varsity Quiz. Thank you, Ro. And there's our students from Palo Verde. Coming right up, the bonus round on Varsity Quiz. The score going into round 2, Coronado with 45 points to Palo Verde's -5. Now, if you're scoring at home, you might be wondering, where did Coronado end up with 45? The judges decided that that question about the climate agreement, the original answer given was the Paris Accord. We gave them an opportunity to give a different answer, but the judges decided the first answer was the one we needed to take, so that's incorrect. It ended up being a deduction. Palo Verde had some answers correct, but they also had some interrupts that ended up with the negative score. All right, so Coronado's keeping all of their same players, Xander, Mia, Miriam, Daniel. Very good. Palo, we've got a couple of new players. Let's say hello to Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
Hello.
Welcome back. Good to see you again. And there's Caden. Hi, Caden.
Hi.
And Ben and Aaron are back. Let's get going. What 4-syllable word starting with the letter S as in Sam is a general term for both stocks and bonds? Coronado, Daniel.
Securities.
Correct. Bonus questions about finance now for Coronado only. First, when spending equals income, what alliterative phrase is appropriate? Second, which word beginning with the letter E as in Edward indicates ownership interest in a business?
Share?
It starts with E. Oh, E. So spending equals income.
Captain?
First answer, same old, same old. Second answer, we thought we knew the answer, but we don't know the answer.
Well, that's very creative, but no bonus points for either. The alliterative phrase is balanced budget, and ownership interest in a business called equity. No bonus points, but you got the original points, and we move on to this question for both teams. We're going to give you a literary couple and ask you to name the novel title. Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler. Coronado, Miriam?
Gone with the Wind.
Yes. Now bonus questions for Coronado only with more literary couples where you name the novel. First, Elizabeth Bennet and Fitzwilliam Darcy. Second, Wesley and Buttercup. You have 10 seconds.
First answer, Pride and Prejudice. Second answer, The Princess Bride.
You got it. Love both of those. Okay, now we have another question for both teams. Give the term for groups of atoms that act as a single charged Coronado, Daniel?
Coordination compound.
No, and that is an interrupt. That act as a single charged unit formed when molecules gain or lose electrons. Palo, Caden?
Ionic compound?
No, we were looking for polyatomic ions. No points. We move on to this question for both teams. Name the wars that were fought between Rome and Carthage. Coronado, Miriam?
The Punic Wars.
Correct. Bonus questions about wars now for Coronado only. First, who were the two opposing commanders in the Battle of El Alamein? Second, in which decade was the Treaty of Paris signed, ending the French-Indian War?
1760s?
1760s.
60s.
Captain?
First answer, Erwin Rommel. Second answer, 1760.
1760s is correct. We needed the opposing commanders, so Rommel was correct, but we needed Montgomery and Rommel, so you don't get those bonus points. You do get the bonus points for 1760s. All right, question for both teams is a calculation question, students. What's the volume of a cylinder with a radius of 11 units and a height of 18 units rounded to the nearest whole number? Coronado, Miriam?
6,234 units cubed.
Incorrect. Palo, Aaron?
3,334 units cubed.
No, we were looking for 6,012. So no points as we move on to this question for both teams. The first barometers measured atmospheric pressure with which elemental? Coronado, Daniel?
Mercury.
Yes, bonus questions now for Coronado only about earth science. First, much of the ocean floor is which dark igneous rock? Second, the shortest twilight occurs along what line of latitude?
Like 0 degrees north? I don't know.
Maybe.
Captain?
First answer, basalt. Second answer, 0 degrees north.
Both are correct. Bonus points for Coronado. Next question for both teams. Name the writer who worked as a busboy and a steward on a freighter before helping launch the magazine called Fire in 1926, an important figure in the Harlem Renaissance. And that's Coronado. Miriam?
Langston Hughes.
Correct. Bonus questions about literature now for Coronado only. First, what's the royal family name of the prince in The Prince and the Pauper? Second, Asimov's set of rules governing the behavior of artificial life forms is known as what?
Asimov's laws. I'm going to say that. And then first answer. First answer, Canty. Second answer, Asimov's laws.
Both are incorrect. It was the Tudor family, and Asimov wrote the laws of robotics. No bonus points. Next question for both teams. The Gulf of Aqaba and the Gulf of Suez both border what peninsula? Coronado, Xander?
The Sinai?
Correct. Bonus questions about world geography now for Coronado only. First, in the Maasai language, its name means white mountain. Second, most of the runoff from northern Italy is carried into the Adriatic Sea by what river?
Rhine.
No. It's. I think so.
First
Captain?
answer, Mont Blanc. Second answer, Danube River.
Both incorrect. It was Mount Kilimanjaro, and it's the River Po. No bonus points. The original points are awarded, but this question for both teams. What part of speech is this word? Adjectivally. Coronado, Miriam?
Adverb.
Correct. Bonus questions about grammar for Coronado only. First, what adverb means twice a year? Second, appositives are always used as what parts of speech?
Yeah, okay, that sounds right.
First answer, biannually. Second answer, noun phrases.
The first one is correct. Let me check with the judge. Okay, the judge says you get both bonus points, and we're out of time. Stick around for the speed round next. The score going into round three, Coronado with 110 points. Palo Verde still in negative territory at -5, but stranger things have happened. Before we get to this speed round, we got a couple of new players for Coronado. We welcome Ayan. Hi, Ayan.
Hello.
Nice to see you here. And Sophia is back. Hi, Sophia. Miriam and Daniel, good to see you. Palo, we got a couple of new players. There's Kevin. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
Daniel. Oh, you don't
Hi.
need to lean in. We got you. And Cheyenne. Hi, Cheyenne.
Hi.
All right, let's go. What's the velocity-dependent force that opposes the motion of an object through a fluid? Coronado, Daniel?
Drag.
Yes. Salman Rushdie wrote Midnight's Children, a novel that tells of those living through the time of what nation's independence from England? Coronado, Miriam?
India.
Yes. Who was the Greek goddess of the hearth? Coronado, Sophia?
Hestia?
Yes. Moscow is considered to be a much more traditional Russian city than which former capital? Coronado, Sophia?
St. Petersburg?
Yes. Who wrote the Communist Manifesto? Coronado, Miriam?
Karl Marx.
That is an interrupt. I'll finish reading the question. Who wrote the Communist Manifesto with Karl Marx? Palo, Kevin?
Engels.
Correct. A little bit louder next time. You don't need to lean into the mic though, Kevin, because the mic hears you, but I'm old, I don't hear very well. Next question. In August of 2023, which African nation's democratic government was overtaken by a military coup, alarming democratic governments around the world? Palo, Ro?
Sudan.
Incorrect. Coronado, Sophia?
South Sudan?
No, it was Niger. Next question is a calculation question. We do not repeat here in the third round, so listen up. Solve for x. The quantity, x over 2, minus 3 equals 7. Coronado, Sophia?
X equals 5.
Incorrect. Palo, Cheyenne?
X equals 20.
Yes. And let's move on to mycology. That's the study of what type of eukaryotic, Coronado, Daniel?
Fungi.
Yes. Who's credited with inventing the cotton gin in Coronado, Sophia?
Eli Whitney?
Yes. Everything I say is a lie. What is the term for this type of statement? Coronado, Sophia?
Paradox?
Yes. Instead of difficulty reading, this word's roots mean difficulty in speech. What word are we talking about? Palo, Ro?
Dyslexia.
Correct. The arsonist was arrested as he failed to destroy the evidence when the fire fizzled out. He had closed the door to the room where the fire was set, thus depriving it of Palo, Ro?
Oxygen.
Correct. What's the hardest bone in the human body? Palo, Ro?
Femur.
Correct. If you multiply mass and velocity, what's your result? Coronado, Daniel?
Momentum.
Correct. In which country is the ancient city of Petra? Palo, Ro?
Jordan.
Yes. Which state is home to the Great Smoky Mountains? Palo, Ro?
Tennessee.
Incorrect. Coronado, Miriam?
Alabama.
No, it's North Carolina. Next question. What does vocabulary mean when broken into its Latin roots? Coronado, Sophia?
Word meaning.
Incorrect. Palo, Ro?
Definition of a word.
No, we were looking for word knowledge. Next question. What multinational agreement signed in 2015 aimed to limit Iran's nuclear program in exchange for sanctions relief? Coronado, Miriam?
Iran-Contra affair.
Incorrect. It was simply known as the Iran nuclear deal. Next question. What's the name of the mischievous spirit in A Midsummer Night's... Coronado, Miriam?
Puck.
Yep. The Cambrian explosion wasn't a literal explosion, but a major rise in what? Coronado, Daniel?
Life.
Can we take that? Yes, okay. Which empire was founded by Cyrus the Great? Coronado, Miriam?
Byzantine Empire.
Incorrect. Palo, Kevin?
Persian Empire.
Correct. Animals with shells or what other features are much more likely to fossilize than creatures without... Coronado, Miriam?
Bones.
I think we can take that. Image capture, that's the primary function of what type of visual art? Coronado, Daniel?
Photography.
Yes. In a logical art argument, what do you call a statement or fact that supports your position? Coronado, Sophia?
Evidence.
Incorrect. We're looking for a premise. Next question. The Prince and Princess of Wales were among the guests who attended the June 2023 wedding of Crown Prince Hussein to Saudi architect Rajwa Al Saif. Of which country is Prince Coronado, Miriam?
Jordan.
Yes. What term describes the use of algorithms to foresee future events or behaviors? Coronado, Miriam?
Astrology.
Incorrect. Palo, Ro?
Betting.
No, it's predictive analytics. Next question. What's the phenomenon where a wave's frequency increases as its wavelength decreases? Palo, Ro?
Low tide.
No? Coronado, Miriam?
Amplitude.
No, we're looking for blue shift. Who wrote The Sun Also Rises? Coronado, Sophia?
Hemingway.
Yes. As of April 2023, what invasion caused Europe's biggest refugee crisis? Palo, Ro?
Russia, Ukraine.
Yes. What novel explores the life of a man named Jay as told by his friend Nick Carraway? Coronado, Sophia?
The Great Gatsby.
Yes. We're out of time. Let's find out who won. Final score tonight, Coronado 180 points to Palo Verde's 35. We have a round of applause for both teams. An excellent match. But congratulations to Coronado. They will be moving on to the championship match in a couple of weeks that you don't want to miss next week because that'll be our second semifinal match. Clark is taking on A-Tech to see who's going to play Coronado for the title of VQ 2024 champion. Thanks for watching Varsity Quiz on Vegas PBS.